Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of Carnegie Borough Council to order. We'll begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Thank you. Councilperson Borough.
Here.
Councilperson Boyd.
Here.
Councilperson Demko.
Here.
Councilperson Sarsko.
Here.
Councilperson DeLoss. Here. Council President Katina.
Here.
Mayor Kabistik. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I believe you have the oath of office to administer?
Yes, we have a new officer who actually started, so this is a ceremonial swearing in, so he was sworn in the first day of his of duty, and his name is Dallas Koger. And the chief, would you like to come up and we can swear him in, Chief?
Let's do it over here so your family can. They can just follow me. Anyway, please raise your right hand. I, Dallas Koger, do solemnly swear
I, Dallas Coger, do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the laws of this Commonwealth,
the laws of this Commonwealth,
and this governmental subdivision,
and this governmental subdivision,
and that I will hold,
and I will hold,
obey, and enforce
obey, and enforce
the law
the law
and discharge the duties of my office
and discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity,
without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap,
handicap,
or disability.
or disability.
As a police officer
As a police officer
for the Borough of Carnegie,
for the Borough of Carnegie.
congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor.
Chief, why don't we sign this, we can give this a copy.
You Steeler fan, Dallas?
Absolutely.
Check.
I raised them that way.
Okay.
Then we need your signature and.
Nice
Thank you very much. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate you
Council, thank you.
giving us your son.
Yes, glad to have you on
And your
board.
fiancée.
Thank you. Great.
It's always an honor and a privilege every time we get to hire a new police officer, so I wish Officer Koger congratulations and good luck in Carnegie and welcome to the town.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, I believe you have a proclamation also this evening.
Yes. I know. I should have seen it.
In case you haven't noticed, we are joined tonight by the Kiev Ukrainian Dance Ensemble, and they have an annual show that they will be having at the Andrew Carnegie Free Library Musical Hall on October 24th. This dance ensemble has been around for more than 70 years and housed right here in Carnegie. So at this time, we want to give them a proclamation for their service to our community, for what they do for the Ukrainian community, and for what they do for the United States in general by celebrating the culture. This is a Borough of Carnegie proclamation, the Kiev Ukrainian Dance Ensemble. Whereas Ukrainian folk dancing was introduced to Carnegie over 70 years ago, and whereas in 1962, Saints Peter and Paul UOL chapter formally placed the dance group under the directorship of Beverly Kapellik, and the group became known as the Ukrainian Folk Dancers of Saints Peter and Paul Ukrainian Orthodox Church. And whereas in 1983, the name Kiev Ukrainian Dance Ensemble of Saints Peter and Paul Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Carnegie was adopted. And whereas currently, under the directorship of Natalie M. Kapellik, the dance ensemble continues to provide professional, quality training in the art of Ukrainian folk dance to any child, and continues to enlighten and entertain audiences throughout the Eastern Seaboard. Now therefore, I, Mayor Jack Kubistik, along with Borough Council, hereby proclaim October 24, 2015 as Kiev Ukrainian Dance Ensemble Day here in the Borough of Carnegie, to coincide with their annual performance at the Andrew Carnegie Free Library and Music Hall, entitled Just Dance, and wish the ensemble continued success in bringing the beautiful and exhilarating art of Ukrainian folk dance to not only the residents of Carnegie, but the entire country. It's dated this October 12th, 2015. So let's, first of all, let's give them a nice big hand. You want to come up, Natalie, if you'd like to say something, I'll present you with this proclamation.
Mayor Kubistik, Council President Katena, and honored council members and Carnegie residents. We are very pleased and honored and humbled to receive such a proclamation. As you heard, our group has been in existence for over 70 years. We have had hundreds of people come through our group in the greater Pittsburgh area. We currently even have people who come from Youngstown, Ohio to learn with our ensemble. We currently have a school of students between the ages of 4 and 13, and we have 35 students, and we have a performance ensemble of about 25 to 30 dancers between the ages of 14 and 40 something. So we believe that you don't have to quit dancing once you graduate from high school, as you can see some of our very dedicated dancers I have here. We would like to greet you with the traditional Ukrainian offering of bread and salt, so that your lives may be always filled with bounty and greatness. We also have a little thank you gift for you. Are you allowed to take it? They're traditional Ukrainian Easter eggs. They're wooden. We don't want to give you real ones just in case they're broken. So we wanted to thank you very much. And this would be a little reminder to you, a little bit of Ukrainian in your life. We feel it's like St. Patrick's Day. Everyone's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. Well, when you're with Ukrainians, everybody's Ukrainian. So whenever you see your egg, that you remember the Kiev Ukrainian Dance Ensemble. As the mayor said, our performance is October 24th, and it's entitled Just Dance. We believe that folk dance shouldn't stay in a bubble for only their particular ethnic group. We believe that it is an art form as well as a continuance of our heritage. So each professional production that we put on in October is more of something like you'd go see at the Benedum or Heinz Hall. It is a full production with actors, musicians, and of course our dancers. We also do propagate our heritage around the country. Most recently we danced in Baltimore last month. We've gone as far as New Jersey and the greater tri-state area, and we're very proud not only to represent our Ukrainian heritage, but always the great borough of Carnegie. And many of our dancers are from the borough and continue to live here. So we wanted to again thank you very much for this proclamation. It means very much to the dance group, and we hope that we can always honor our town and you. So thank you very much. Oh, and I'd like to introduce, that's Mike Sally. Mike does not like to talk very much, but Michael is the president of our organization, and I'm here to support. So I'll give you information about the show if anybody would like it. And would you like me to just leave it on the table in the front?
my aunt, my dad's sister, she used to make them, but she would actually, she had them where they opened up, and she put stuff inside. I mean, she worked on it for hours and hours, and we used to always celebrate, Russian Christmas, and it was, none of the young people wanted to keep it going, but it was quite a tradition.
And not many people do that art form anymore, but clean it up. And that's one of the things we're very proud of is we think people need to know where they come from. And many of our dancers actually are not Ukrainian at all. They just love what we do. So I think it's a testament to us having to our work.
Definitely to you guys. Honestly. Oh, Pat, did you want to, hold on a second. Pat, you want me to hear?
I'm fine, thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Break late in a couple weeks.
Monday nights are our rehearsal nights, so we're going to go right down to go back to rehearsal for everybody else, because we have a big show. Darn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any public comment on any of the listed motions this evening? Seeing no public comment, we'll begin with administration. Councilman Sarsfield.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion A is a motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting on September 14th and September 28th, 2015.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Motion B, Mr. President, will be tabled at this time. Moving on to motion C, it's a motion to authorize the council president to enter into an agreement and release with Koza Enterprises LLC, releasing the Borough and Koza Enterprises from the mutual obligations contained in their March 10th, 2014 agreement, and to return money held in escrow under that agreement to Koza Enterprises LLC.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any comment? Just for clarification purposes, we entered into an agreement with Craig Koza and Koza Enterprises some time ago. I believe about a year and a half ago, if I remember correctly, maybe a little longer. But this was when East End Food Co-op was potentially interested in buying the Family Dollar lot, and the agreement was for a certain amount of time that we entered into with him. And at this point in time, it's just a bookkeeping matter that, since we're beyond the terms and the scope of the arrangement, we're obviously terminating the agreement and returning his money. And like I said, it's a housekeeping measure primarily. But obviously, if East End Food Co-op is still interested, we're obviously still interested in still having you. So just to put that out there publicly. So, thank you. The motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Finance, Councilman DeLoss.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the October bill list and bill list addendum.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Councilperson Navarro,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson DeLoss,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Public Works, Councilwoman Demko.
Motion to accept the proposal of KLH Engineers to complete an updated borough roadway and rehabilitation study for an amount not to exceed $6,000.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson DeLoss,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Navarro,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public Safety, Councilman Boyd.
Thank you. Motion to advertise ordinance 2419, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 15, Section 204 of the Borough Code of Ordinances relating to motor vehicles and traffic.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those, are any discussion?
Just to let you know exactly what this is, it relates to parking problem, or attempting to eliminate a parking problem on Christie between Washington Avenue and Beechwood, yeah. And if you are headed up the hill, once this ordinance goes into law, there'll be no parking on the right-hand side of the road where the railing and the sidewalk is.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Community Development Code Enforcement, Councilman Borough.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion A, motion to adopt ordinance number 2417, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 27 of the Borough Code of Ordinances, establishing certain general and specific standards relating to the location, placement, construction, and maintenance of tower-based wireless communication facilities.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any comment or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Motion to authorize the borough manager to provide notification and to advertise Borough Ordinance 2420, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie vacating Market Alley and Ash Way.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
This motion is merely to advertise what is anticipated to be done with Market Alley and Ash Way, and this merely begins the procedure. There will be other processes that need to go through in the future.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
5C, motion to approve the application of NVR Inc., Presley Heights Land Development Amendment Number 8 to subdivide lot and blocks 103-E-137 and 103E-138 as recommended by the Planning Commission on September 29, 2015.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
D, motion to approve resolution number 2015-09, a resolution of the Borough of Carnegie confirming that the Borough of Carnegie has submitted a community development block grant application through the Char West COG to the Allegheny County Department of Economic Development in the amount of $20,214.70 for the installation of ADA ramps and miscellaneous locations along Lee Street.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. We'll now have committee reports, administration, Councilperson Sarsfield.
The only thing I want to say is that if you have a pothole or you have some, gladly I'll take any and all phone calls. But if you call Public Works directly, they can get it on their list and they'll get out there. Because all I'm essentially going to do is pick up the phone and call them to get it on their list. So it's advertised on our website. If you don't, you can call the building, they'll give you the number, and just they'll put it on their list and they'll get to it as soon as they can. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilperson DeLoss, Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. Revenue for the borough is at 89% of plan with 2.5 months left to go in the year. Most of the income, of course, is from property tax, and property tax collected this year to date is at 92%. We have some delinquent taxes that are collected by Jordan. Some of those are doing much better than planned, such as per capita delinquent tax, EIT, prior year tax, occupational tax delinquent, are all much better than planned. However, delinquent property tax is much worse than planned. Currently at $114K worse than planned, which is pretty substantial. So apparently easier to collect some of these other delinquent taxes than delinquent property tax. We started paying on paying the lease purchase payments on the new fire trucks that we ordered at the beginning of the year. So that has put us behind plan because that was not in the budget to start in 2015. So that will have a negative impact on budget for the remainder of the year. Our workers' comp carrier has indicated that we need to adopt a light duty policy in order to reduce our workers' comp insurance premium. Currently, if you've ever been on workers' comp, you know that if you get hurt at work, you go home and you don't get your paycheck, you get paid from the workers' comp insurance carrier. So the borough doesn't pay your pay, but the insurance company does, and as a consequence, that has a negative impact on our insurance premiums. So our workers' comp carrier informed us that they're going to jack our rates up pretty substantially unless we institute a light duty policy, which means people that are hurt could come to work, collect their paycheck, and we would give them duties which they are permitted by their physical condition to perform. So Councilman Boyd and I will be talking with the various groups about how to institute something like that. As far as generally speaking the budget, we're doing a little better than last year as far as year-to-date monies go, and we should be good for the remainder of the year as far as the budget is concerned. The other thing we're working on right now is zoning. As indicated in last month's public meeting, we have retained a company called Environmental Planning and Development, EPD, to finish writing our zoning ordinance. And Steve and I met with the principal there, Mr. A.J. Swartz, to discuss the turnover from the previous planner, which was Pashik and Associates, and to incorporate the changes to the zoning ordinance recommended by Town Center Associates regarding downtown zoning. And just today, I guess it was, that Pashik has forwarded the documents that EPD required to get started on that. We're anticipating a 4 to 6 month completion time, and that would include the public hearing process that's involved. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Code Enforcement and Community Development, Councilperson LaVara.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's no report at this time.
Thank you. Public Works, Councilperson Demko.
No report.
Thank you. Public Safety, Councilperson Wood.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Thank you, and myself. Just a few general things this evening. A number of municipalities have instituted what they call, soliciting. Soliciting is obviously an issue all over, not just in Carnegie. A number of municipalities have instituted do not knock ordinances, which basically your address is kept on file at the borough building, and then when they come down, to apply for the permit, they would in turn be given a list, the solicitor would in turn be given a list of residents that basically you wouldn't be allowed to solicit at their doors or residence. Our ordinance actually in place is a little bit different. If you have it posted, no soliciting, if you have it predominantly posted inside one of your interior windows or one of your windows by your doorbell, actually it's a violation of anyone it's a violation of the borough ordinance in order, if they do knock or if they do ring your doorbell if you have it posted. And there's been a number of instances, like I said, within the past few weeks that there's been a lot of soliciting going on. I had within a period of 3 days, I had Verizon, Comcast, and someone allegedly, a financial services individual that was opening a business on Main Street that I had no idea who this individual was and what business he was opening. He couldn't give me his address either as to where he was opening this new business on Main Street, and apparently he didn't know I was the president of council either when he knocked on my door and I asked him for his license and I asked him for all the information. He got a little bit flustered. But needless to say, have it posted. If you don't want to be bothered, have it posted on your doors. And if you see anything suspicious, please take the time to call 911. 911 isn't just for emergencies. All you have to do is say, when they ask you, 911 answers the phone, typically, what is your emergency? All you have to do is say, it's not an emergency, I'm calling about such and such and such. And they'll gladly send an officer out. You don't have to give your name or anything. It's all voluntary, obviously. But there's so much of this going on, and there's so much of this, and I wouldn't bring this up, but like I said, it happened so much with an occurrence of a 3-day time period that I thought it needed to be brought up because there's so much fraud going on out there that it's definitely a concern. And like I said, if you don't want to be bothered, just get it posted. Because I didn't know that we actually had that in our ordinance, so I discovered that, so I just wanted to remind everybody about that. We actually have 2 budget meeting dates coming up next Monday and the following Monday. So if you're interested in attending those are at 6 p.m. in the caucus room. And last but not least, it seems like, and this is just a personal opinion or a personal statement, this summer has been a very quiet, and I can't testify to anything, I haven't looked at any of the reports or anything, but this summer has been a very quiet summer regarding Carnegie Towers. And I live only a few homes away from Carnegie Towers. And this summer, it just seems like it's been one of the quietest that I can possibly remember. And obviously the new owner, and I'm not sure, Chief, if it's the new owner, if it's you guys, whoever, it seems like things have greatly improved or things have gotten much better because the number of people that I talk to just are surprised that it's so quiet that you almost forget it's there sometimes, which is strange. But like I said, it's been very quiet, and I hope it continues. And I don't mean to, I shouldn't say that, obviously, knock on wood, because when I say this, it'll go downhill. But whatever's going on right now, if that could continue, that's a step in the right direction. I just thought that should be publicly stated. So that's it for my report this evening. We'll now have the manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had 2 things I wanted to update for grants. Last month, I forgot to mention that administration helped Chief Kennedy put in a grant for police vests, and we were successful and got $5,000. So vests can be anywhere in the range from $700 to $800 a piece. So that'll definitely be something that will save some money for some of the officers in the upcoming years. And one other grant application that we have out at the moment will be for the DEP. A lot of people come down for recycle bins, which is great. Obviously, we've ran out since we've got them a number of years ago, so our plan was to get 4,000 to 5,000 recycle bins. That way, every residence can have one, and then obviously we'll have some extras left over. So hopefully that application's due here in about a month, so that's what we have on the table at the moment. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Carnegie Volunteer Fire Department EMS report.
Any of the numbers here. During the month of September, there were 29 fire calls and 274 calls for EMS. And that's it.
Thank you. And one other thing, I'm not to go backtrack, but one other thing that I just wanted to express. I'm working on, the mayor said it last month, I'm working on a policy, I guess, per se, for skunk removal. And because skunks have become such an issue, obviously, we all have them everywhere, unfortunately. But I've been trying to see if we can get a better bulk rate by soliciting through one company to try to get a lower rate. Because right now, what happens, in case you didn't know, is if you trap a skunk, or we trap a skunk on your property, if the borough let you to trap and you trap a skunk, unfortunately, there's only one gentleman so far that I can identify that actually will take skunks. So what you have to do is basically either you pay him $60 and it comes out of your pocket, not the borough's pocket. That's the current policy. I'm trying to negotiate a better rate for skunk removal to see if this is something that the borough can afford moving forward. Because $60 is a lot. $60 is a lot to pay for one skunk, let alone if you have a family of them and you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of them, it adds up real quick. So I'm trying to negotiate a better bulk rate for skunk removal to see if that can be done. Because, like I said, I know it's an issue, and like I said, I don't want to penalize the residents for having multiple skunks removed because I believe it helps out everybody. So that's what I'm working on. I just forgot to give that update during the president's report. Sorry about that. Mayor's report, sorry, Jim. I'm rambling.
It's okay. Thank you, Mr. President. For September, the numbers for September for our police department: criminal arrests and citations for 27, parking tickets numbered 192, traffic citations 16, complaints and self-initiated activity by the department were 941. Little update on the traffic for this weekend. They are planning, PennDOT is planning a full inbound closure, which would be from I-79 to the city side of the tunnel. So with that update, we could expect some serious problems in the community. We were promised a little while ago that the inbound closures were done for our community, that they were going to be below us, from Green Tree on down. And that's the information I've been sending out. But apparently the last inbound closure they had, that they said that the state police said there were a number of areas where there were accidents because they were unable to get off at 79 onto the detour route. People were getting caught in the detour route, and it was actually up by Roslyn Farms, near misses for head-on collisions, whatever the propaganda is they gave me. I was obviously, I don't think anybody was happy. I was not happy with it, but tried my best to argue the point, but it didn't work. And so the inbound closure is scheduled for this weekend, barring, though, here's the caveat, barring the weather. Right now they're calling for some chilly evenings over the weekend. It's supposed to go down to close to about 40 degrees. And that is not good weather to do the work that they're trying to do, so they may cancel it due to the temperature at this time. And of course, rain would be an automatic cancel. So if that's the case, then it would just be pushed back.
Is this the last one, Jack?
This
The
is
last scheduled one?
this. I'm not sure if it's the last scheduled one. I think they still have another scheduled one to come, but this is the. I'm hoping that this is the last one that goes through Carnegie, but there is one other, depending on when they complete it, where they have to do the joints or the area between the bridge, the concrete, and the area and the actual paving. All those need to be paved with wearing, and that when they do that, there will be a full closure for that. But that could be anytime from now till next year, but it shouldn't be a full closure both ways. It would be a full closure for 1 day for each direction. So that's what I know at this point. They still are supposedly on schedule to open the ramps, but we'll see how that goes. The other thing to remember is that they have permission now to close both tunnels at the same time. So in the evening, overnight, they are closing both tunnels at the same time. So both the outbound and the inbound are closed. So basically, using the 4-pin tunnels overnight is going to be almost impossible. So that's the update on the traffic. There's a meeting tomorrow. I hope they attend the meeting and just get further information from them. Want to talk a little bit that we have had, I don't want to say it's a rash, but there's been about 3 burglaries in the past month, and all 3 burglaries, well, we have a lead on one, and on the other 2, we have some ideas on what the situation is. But I want to remind everybody that it is very important to make sure all your windows and doors are locked when you leave the house. And if you see anybody strange in your neighborhood, call 911 immediately and let us investigate the situation. So just anybody walking around, as President Katina said before, whether it be soliciting, whatever the situation is, call 911 and we'll check it out. Talked about the budget meetings. One of the things that the chief and I think we have supported council on, are pushing for this year's budget is an alert system. So we're looking to have an EAS system for our residents, so that we can alert them to any major issues in the borough, anything from a road closure to a threat of violent weather and possible problems. So we'll be pushing forward with that, and hopefully we'll have room in the budget for that this year. I want to thank, we were talking about the grant from the DEP. The DEP gave us a grant for our 6th grade students at Carnegie Elementary to go on a field trip to study the watershed. They were on a pontoon boat. This was with Allegheny Cleanways, and it was just the field trip turned out to be a great opportunity for the kids, and they really enjoyed it. So it was one of those things where we hope to do it every year. So it was just a nice day for the children of Carnegie Elementary in 6th grade. Halloween this year, we will be having Halloween, in case you heard differently. And it will be October 31st, which is a Saturday, and from 6 to 8 p.m. We will also be having the annual Halloween Promenade. The Halloween Promenade will be on October 24th. Registration will be at 12 noon at the East Main Street Bridge. Promenade will begin at 1, so that'll still be going on this year as it was last year. And in case you haven't noticed, the Legion, American Legion Post 82, they used to have a big Hannes Wagner portrait on the side of their building. Well, it deteriorated, and we've been we were working on trying to find a solution for that, and I did some fundraising, and we were able to come up with enough money to replace it. And so it will be replaced. I just got the call today. They should be installing it this week. So if they ever open the ramps, people can see that again. Yeah. So the goal would be put this up and then open the ramps, and we'll be back to normal. So it should be installed this week. So that's good news. Joanne Letcher's not here. I did want to thank Joanne Letcher for a very successful crawl year this year. She did a lot of great work of organizing all the details for the crawl, so I really want to thank her for that. And it's also the Mayor's Association wants to make everyone know that wants to make it known that in October is National Teen Driving Safety Week. And that's from October 18th to the 24th. And during that time, we would hope that people would talk to their teenagers, if you have teenagers, about driving safely. Remind them to make sure they use their seatbelts. Make sure that they're not texting or using the phone, or make sure they're not being distracted drivers. And also have the conversation with them, never to drink and drive, and never get in the car with somebody who's drinking and driving. In case you're wondering how important this is, over in the Centers for Disease Control says the leading cause for death among teenagers is car accidents. So it's very important that we, as a community, reinforce this with our teenagers so that we don't have to deal with this. And unfortunately, a lot of times you do. Hope we can avoid it. There's also a website that'll help that you can go to that promotes teen safety, and that website is www.nhtsa.gov/teendrivers. So, anyway, and then lastly, just like to bring up, we had a zoning meeting here a while ago, and I know that our president of council, we don't want any debate on this, but one of the things that happened at the zoning meeting was that there was a document that was used at the zoning meeting that was signed by this board that was never voted on. And I truly believe that is a violation of the Sunshine Act. I believe that anytime a document, we enter into an agreement with anybody, whether there's stipulations in the agreement or not, it has to be voted on by the board. And I wanted to bring that up at this time because, it may come up because there are other people here at the meeting, and it may come up, and we're not supposed to have any debate if it does come up. But I just wanted to let people know that no matter how you sugarcoat it, the law is meant to be. When you vote on it, or when you enter an agreement, and both parties sign that agreement, and there's a date on that agreement, that agreement needs to be voted on in the public. And as mayor of the town, I was a little embarrassed that I didn't know the agreement existed. I didn't know that we had talked about this in executive session. We had talked about the agreement, and technically you're not even allowed to vote on it in executive session. So somewhere along the line, a decision was made to enter into an agreement, and I was sitting next to a councilman at the time, and he was surprised. He was a little surprised by the agreement too. So I just think that it's something that we need to be we need to protect the integrity of that law, because that law is there for a reason. So, and I'm sure people will counter that, but just wanted to let you know my feelings on it. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. And just to address what the mayor just said, I said last week, it's not a debate, I'm just clarifying. The agreement was actually signed by me in error, which I said last week at the meeting. And our solicitor did clarify that, which I believe you were there at.
I don't remember that part, to be honest with you.
Yes, I believe that was, that was what was said, correct?
Yes, I was present. The solicitor said that agreement was not valid because council had not voted on it.
And I had mistakenly signed it in error. So if it's a violation of the Sunshine Law, or if you want to make the accusation it's a violation of the Sunshine Law, it's an accusation of me making a simple mistake. So I apologize for that. It's not a violation. I don't believe it's a violation of the Sunshine Law by me making a mistake and signing something in error. It doesn't come into effect, though, until council basically directs me to sign it, which I believe happened after the sign, after whatever happens at the zoning hearing board with the sign. So just to clarify that. So We'll now have general public comment, so if there's anyone wishing to come forward, please state your name and address and keep your comments to, I respectfully request to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less.
Hi everyone, my name is Deanna Mountain. I live at 711 Logan Street. Just a little background on the neighborhood in which I live. My great-grandparents built a house across the street, 710 Logan Street. My sister then lived there for many, many years. It's a beautiful neighborhood. I've owned the house that I live in for just over 6 years, including a 1.5 year period in which my family and I worked very hard at renovating the home. I'm here today to speak about the house next door to mine, 709 Logan Street. It is abandoned and unkempt. The property owner has had very little involvement in keeping the property looking presentable over the past 6 years. To be honest, I've been reluctant to bring this to the attention of anyone in the borough. That was until about a year ago when my car was broken into in front of the house. It was at that point that I knew I needed to start alerting you of issues that I was having. Since then, my husband and I have contacted several parties in the borough regarding the deplorable condition of the house next to mine, including Mr. Buter, Mr. Roma, the Chief of Police Officer Kennedy, when he came to take the report on the incident of my vehicle being broken into. I've also spoken to Mayor Kovacek on several occasions at social and volunteer functions. Currently, the backyard and the back deck of the property look like a junkyard. There are weeds growing as high as the top of my fence, paint cans in piles, buckets, shovels, sports equipment, coolers, lawnmowers, and a work trailer that hasn't been moved in over a year. There's been a parked pontoon boat in the yard for 6 years now. Windows have remained open for the past year, causing a pipe to burst and leak water for days until my husband called the water company to shut it off. There's even a ladder on the roof. We have pictures for you to see, which I'll give you afterwards. While living there, we have dealt with the sights and sometimes smells next door, although we shouldn't have had to. However, right now we're trying to sell our house, and the condition of 709 is directly affecting the sale of our property. I'd like to read you a summary from my real estate agent. The overwhelming feedback from the over 20 showings of my house have been rather consistent. Everyone loves it and the extensive repairs that were made. It is the nicest house they have seen in the price range, rivaling others in higher price points. The house directly to the left of yours, 709, is the main reason they have not pulled the trigger to make an offer. The property is in such disrepair and the yard is full of clutter that they just won't make the jump to purchase your property. The home is killing your chances right now and getting the best price for your house. He says he has been selling real estate for over 12 years and the condition of the property is deplorable, among the worst he's seen in such a vibrant Carnegie neighborhood. He has shown the home himself, and once buyers see the backyard of the neighbors, their attention is pulled away from the beauty of your home and instead of the condition of your next door neighbor's yard. I see that there is a for sale by owner sign on the house. I have called the number many times and left a message, but they didn't call me back. That makes me wonder if they are giving up and just letting it waste away. This property, this is me speaking again, not the email. The property is deplorable. I don't know what else to do. I'm saddened that the condition of the property is affecting the sale of my home, a property that I worked so hard on improving and making it into a beautiful home. I don't want to be forced to turn this home into another rental property, nor do I think that Carnegie, that's what's best for Carnegie. I'm asking for your support, and I'm asking what you're going to do to take care of this situation.
709 was the address?
Correct.
Okay. We'll look into it.
I'd like for you to see these.
It's the upper end of Logan, right?
Yes,
This
yes,
this-
right across
right,
from
right.
Coventry.
As soon as you
5
come
or
across
6
the tracks, it's one way.
Correct. Yeah, we have the alley in the back.
Okay, we'll get back to you. We have your name and address.
If I remember correctly, and I don't want to, I'm sure you know Bill, the Comcast guy.
Yes.
It's the house next to him, correct?
Yes.
So I think it's up for.
I think
been-
it's two up
for-
from the Comcast guy. It's a greenhouse.
Yeah, I think it's up for sheriff's sale, if
It has been, in the most recent, we've been in communication with, I'm not even sure who, but the most recent from Allegheny County is that the sheriff's sale was delayed. It was supposed to be in September, and it was delayed due to the owner having some kind of health issue. But it was up for sheriff's sale several years ago as well, and I believe he paid off what he needed to, and it was no longer up for sheriff's sale. But it's also apparently for sale by owner, but they're not returning any phone calls.
Because I think Bill himself has brought the complaint to Mr. Conlon too, so.
Okay, we'll look into it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Maggie?
I just want to invite, I'm Maggie Forbes from the Carnegie Free Library Music Hall, and the library is restored, the interior of the library. A few people up here have seen it. It is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It will not be put back together as a library until Sunday, October 25th. We're waiting for new computer stations and some new bookcases. But rest assured, the library that everybody has always loved is there. It's just whole and gorgeous again. And we have a major open house on Sunday, October 25th. We're showcasing all 3 floors. Obviously, the centerpiece is the library. It's free. It's open to the public. This is something that people should come from all over. Cello Fury is performing, fabulous group in the music hall at 2. The SB Post, of course, will be open. Phil Salvato, Haywood will be performing downstairs in the studio. Rini Monteverdi. There'll be refreshments, not of the sort you had the other night, but there will be refreshments, more of the cookies and punch variety. And then Carlinton Choir will wrap it all up with a concert, and with guest alumna Natalie Hatcher will be singing. But it really is, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that we now have the most beautiful library in Allegheny County. And so come see it. If you don't have a library card, I don't know, I better check everybody up here. If you don't have a library card, get one. This is for all of you. We have children's programs. Come see it. It's been a long time coming. We're not completely done with the facility, but the fact that the library is done is a source of great pride.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening?
Hi, my name's Cheryl Steffen, and I live at 318 California Avenue. And I have a comment to make about the zoning meeting that I attended. And I attended specifically, not really for the sign issue, but to see the process of what happened with the sign. I'm sure some of you remember that I stood in front of this council and had some questions about the ability of this council and the leadership to handle what was obviously an illegal sign. Months and months and months have gone by. So I went to the zoning hearing, and I was shocked, as were a lot of people in the audience, when they saw a lease. I even believe that members of the zoning board were pretty surprised, and they actually made a comment in the meeting that I think you guys deserve to hear. And that is how disappointed they are when you send things to them that obviously it looks like you want their approval, only to hear from the residents that where was the transparency in this zoning? I mean, they were ready to just approve it because of the way you sent it up with that signed lease that nobody knew about. I would also like to say that to his credit, Mike was in the audience, and I don't know where everybody else was that signed the lease. But Mike said that he checked with council, and the council said that the reason why they signed the lease was that obviously it wouldn't go into effect unless the zoning board approved it, which was sort of ridiculous, because my question was, well, what if they didn't approve it, and then what if they did? There still was no vote. So then the most interesting part of the meeting was the owner of the person that wants the sign, who I've never met, who I have nothing against, makes a statement how Cheryl Steffen and her husband Jeff don't like the Snyders and don't want the sign. And I said, quite honestly, the Snyders have always been very close friends with my family, and I'm not here about the sign and the Snyders. I'm here about how council handles a situation that was clearly illegal from the get-go. And my concern is that I said months earlier, if you can't handle a sign, what else can't you handle? And so for me, the issue is not the sign. For me, the issue is I totally understand why a business owner wants that. I don't have anything against them. I think it's horrible that he's in the position that he's in. I don't know who put him in the position that he's in, but he shouldn't be there. And he also made some crazy statement in a meeting like that about extortion. So, gentlemen, ladies, big issue. I tried to say, step up, take care of this before this spirals out of control. Very disappointed, feel very badly for everybody involved. And I guess that means my 3 minutes are up, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening? If there's no one else, we'll begin with Council Good and Welfare. Councilman Sarsfield.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to thank all my colleagues up here, the mayor, the VFW, my father's flag presentation was wonderful. I know that the mayor puts a lot of time in the VFW, and there was concern of weather, but you know, I think the mayor, the way he set it up and was accommodating, and for them guys to come out, but certainly to have each and every one of you there supporting really meant a lot to me. And don't forget, Think Pink this month. You know, I happen to work with a cancer survivor, and one of my fellow parishioners in my church, his daughter is a cancer survivor, so Think Pink this month, you know, buy whatever you can that has that label and help support the cause. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Demko.
Just one thing, I just wanted to remind everybody that the Haunted Trail starts this weekend, the 16th, 17th, the 23rd, and 24th, and it's from 7 to 11. And it's even scarier this year than last year. I won't even go through it tonight. But yeah, so it starts, we're gonna have lots of good food and lots of fun pumpkin patch for the kids that are too little to go through the scary part. So please try to come. It's lots of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, I forgot one thing also. This Saturday, the 17th, we will be planting the parking lots. We'll be doing some trees and shrubbery. There'll be one here in the fall and then another one in the spring. So registration begins at 9 o'clock down at the Carnegie Coffee Shop. Anybody that looking for something fun and exciting to do that morning, please come and join us.
Thank you. Councilman DeLaws?
Just one thing, Mr. President. Some of you know Leon Zients. Leon is a mainstay in the local musical theater here with Savoyards and Stage 62. He's going to be doing a free concert at the Synagogue in Carnegie, Chestnut Street in Lydia on November the 8th. It's a Sunday at 7 o'clock. He's going to be doing Broadway show tunes. I think it's going to be a real nice affair, and it's free, so it's a good opportunity if you've never seen Leon sing. He's got quite a voice. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman LeVar?
Nothing at this time, Mr.
Thank you. Councilman Boyd?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Thank you. And the only thing I'd like to say this evening is that I had the opportunity to attend Mike's father's flag ceremony, and that was the first flag ceremony that I ever attended. But I have to agree with him. I mean, you did it. Jack, you did a fabulous job with that. It's a very moving ceremony, and if I never took the time to attend, quite honestly, I never took the time to attend one until now. And it's a very moving ceremony, to say the least. To sit there and actually see it all happen and transpire before you. And if you get an opportunity, I'd highly recommend that you get the one. Because, like I said, it'll affect you, obviously. Thank you this evening. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
Motion has been made second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
All approved, motion carried.
Thank you.